So I had a mental breakdown yesterday, and the why is not important. This is the perk of having a business, running a business, being an entrepreneur, or being somebody who's a high achiever, who puts a lot of pressure on themselves, has a lot of high standards, expects a lot from themselves. These mental breakdowns are going to happen. I still have them. I am proud to say that I have less and less, and I'm way more in control of them, which is why I'm here talking to you today, because the one I had yesterday, I was able to quickly shift and quickly turn around. And I was like, people need to know I've had so much practice shifting these mental breakdowns into physical and mental breakthroughs, that I was like, people need to know these tools and how to do it. And now professionally, I also help entrepreneurs get their personal life together. And a lot of times when we're feng shuiing their space, working on their identity, working on their habits, we are working through these mental breakthroughs. It just comes with the territory. The why is not important. Honestly, you can just expect them. And that's okay, because what comes up is meant to be released. We're meant to learn from it, and we can move on, especially using these tools I'm going to share with you today. I don't care if you're making $26,000, $60,000, $160,000, $600,000, or $1 million or $6 million a year. These mental breakdowns happen no matter your circumstances. And that's actually really good news, because that means that it's not your circumstances. It's not life happening to you. It's your internal state. It's your mental state and your internal being and your energy that needs to shift. That is the reason for these, not your circumstances. And I can say that confidently because I have been someone who is making 6 figures a year, making $60,000 a month, making 26, and then losing it all and going to 26,000 a year. I have clients who are making $1 million a year. I have clients who are making more than $1 million a year. And then Alex Hormozi has a great video out called Burnout Isn't Real. And he is having an intervention with an entrepreneur who's making like 8 million or more. So I have the experience. I work with people who go through this, and we can see Alex is great about sharing like real life journeys from people who are higher up. I will be there one day and can share my accounts then, but in the meantime, he's a great reference point. So again, this is great news because it doesn't mean it's not the circumstance. It's you, it's the pressure you put on yourself, it's your mind. And so let's talk through how I just shifted all of these in the last 24 hours. I use these every time, and now these mental breakdowns are not weeks long. They're not even days long. They're a couple hours. I'm telling you now, you're going to want to save this, like this, subscribe, whatever you have to do to remember this video. Keep this in your back pocket. You're going to want them. These techniques work because I have practiced them over the years. So even when I was in corporate, when I was in sales, I have always been somebody who puts a ton of pressure on myself to be the best, do the best, perform the best, get a lot done. It's even more pressure when you're running your own business and you're just a one-man band. So I've had a lot of personal practice using these energetic weights, as we call it. So like you go to the gym, you lift weights, you build muscle. These techniques I'm going to give you are like the mental weights that you have to lift to build your emotional capacity to handle living. Okay, so when you're in this fear mental breakdown state, it was looking, again, I'm going to talk through myself. Giving up was looking really good. Giving up, totally pivoting, quitting what I was doing, just like I couldn't figure out certain things. Then there's like all these other things that had to get done after I figured out this thing. There was just obstacles, and it was like giving up was looking really good. Shutting it down wasn't looking good, but just completely pivoting, right? And sometimes it's not even like so in that case, there was options. Sometimes there's not even options. Sometimes the fear and the loudness is so loud. The brain is so loud. Like, how am I going to make more money? Where am I going to get more clients? How am I going to do this? Like the how and the fear and the anxiousness are just so overwhelming. None of it really even makes sense. But it feels very hopeless. It feels like there's no options. And when it feels like there's no options, this is our anxiousness needing action. This is muscle number 1 or weight number 1. When you are feeling that fear, hearing the anxiousness, it's just like loud, loud, loud. There's no options. There's no way out. You have got to find it in you to separate yourself from the mind. I don't know I did a poll once and it surprised me so much how many people didn't realize that you can observe your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. So just because the brain is going a mile a minute, it does not mean you are everything you think. So pull back, separate, observe what's happening. Okay, right now, I'm being very anxious. I'm very fearful. I'm worried about a lot of things. I do not have to be that. I do not have to lean into that. I do not have to believe this. In that moment, all of that anxiousness wants action. If you can simply go for a walk and start moving your environment around you, seeing trees, seeing other people living their life that are not, like, a lot of times when I'm in that state, going out and just looking at people and seeing like, oh, there's like somebody having fun with their family. There's somebody... Or if I can't leave, if I physically can't leave, I'll think, you know what? Today, someone's getting proposed to. Today is someone's happiest day of their life. Today, someone just got in had a terrible event and it is the worst day of their life. Somebody over here is going through this. And it reminds me that everything going on in my head is not the state of the world. It is not fact. It is just something in me coming up. It's overwhelmed from everything I have to do. And again, like expectations I have on myself, all boiling together. Again, the why isn't really important. We just want to get out of it. We want to get to productivity. So if you can't go on a walk and observe other people, start thinking like, is this true for everybody? No. And then don't get into the, well, my life is terrible. Don't get into any victimhood. Luckily, I don't have this issue. I am like, and that's probably a deeper video, but basically victimhood doesn't get you anywhere. Life is happening for you and not to you. And I tell myself that. So when I'm pulling back and I'm observing, life is happening for me, not to me. So it doesn't really matter why I'm feeling this. What am I supposed to learn from this? How can I use this? Or does my body just need a break? So in that moment, you have to decide, do I have it in me to like shift and take action, and I will feel better on the other side of taking action? So yesterday it was like, I have all these reels I need to create, and I was like, yes, it doesn't matter if you put on a full face of makeup and you only do one, you are getting something done, because then you will feel like you've moved the needle. Again, this like anxiousness, this overwhelm, this feeling buried in no options and fear and not having enough clients, not having enough money, that is inaction. So taking action will help you feel like you've done something, and it'll show you're in control, and it usually gets the snowball going. Yesterday, actually, it didn't. I sat down to film a reel and I was like, my energy is just not here. This is not sincere. I cannot do this. But you know what? I tried. And then I said, and then you decide. So if you can find it in you, take action. If not, decide that you are not taking action. This is like you're not going to hear this from other people. Decide, am I going to do something about it, or am I going to turn off my brain? And this is where Netflix and chill is actually really productive. Sometimes, but sitting in the listening and feeding it, giving that anxiousness and that fear and that worry any kind of attention at all, you're not going to figure it out in that state. So you should just turn it off. And for me, yeah, like yesterday, I tried to take the action. It was not sincere. I don't like giving any half-hearted, I don't like putting out there anything that's not helpful to people. I always want to be in a good energy when I'm putting it out there and helping other people. And so I was like, I can't film. So I decided, that's done. We're shutting it off. I'm going to go just watch TV, and I'm not going to feed this energy anymore. I'm going to get out of it, because once you calm yourself down, and it's usually by a distraction, and I said, tomorrow morning, we will start fresh. Okay, so you're deciding. So decide, am I going to do something about it, or am I going to shut it down? Solving isn't going to happen because there's nothing to solve. This is emotions that have to come out, okay? So then when I woke up, it would be great if you wake up and you're like, yay, fresh start, new me, and it's like perfect and hunky-dory. Even with a feng shui bedroom, there are still times your energy takes over. And I woke up, and I also, like, it's really difficult also in the winter. I just spoke with like 5 entrepreneurs in the last week and a half who are having similar mental breakdowns. And all of them actually are on the East Coast. Vitamin D is a real thing. Take your vitamins, get out in the sun. Don't never like take it for granted. It is really difficult to like make it through these long winters sometimes. But regardless, we got things to do, we got places to be, we have people to help, and so we have to pull ourselves out of it. So I did not wake up feeling like great and refreshed. So I had to take control. The next thing to focus on in these moments, or like observe in these moments, what you focus on, what you are adamant about proving right, you will prove right. If you are convinced that the government is a problem and it's taking you down and it's going to ruin your life, you will prove yourself right. If you are convinced that there is just like this thing you need to fight and it's against you and it's your enemy, and you're just facing that fear and that threat, it will prove you right. It will continue to look like a threat. It will continue to look like an issue. If a lot of what you're feeling is because you're having to change actions and do new things, which is kind of the scenario that I was in. Like there's a lot of things I am needing to pivot because they're better for my business, and it's hard and it's change. Change is inevitable. So do not fight change. Change is a good thing. The longer you're like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to give into this, I don't want to change this, the longer you fight that, you're just pushing off the inevitable. Only good things are on the other side of adapting and progressing and changing and evolving. That is life. That's human, being a human. So if you're like, am I just really not wanting to change? Am I really just, is all of this anxiousness because I don't want to do this new thing that seems really hard right now? Okay, well then I can keep fighting it forever, or I can do something about it. Try it. But what you focus on expands. And that's the other thing. If you're focusing on there's no solutions, there's no problems, life is just against me, everyone's out to get me, this is never going to succeed, this is where you have to separate yourself again. You are the creator of your reality. Again, there's somebody who it's their best day in the world. They're getting proposed to, they're getting married, they're having a baby. Why are you having that day? Why are they having the best day of their life and you're having the day that you're having? You get to choose the story of the day, the narrative for the day. And also, your energy in these moments is everything. So you'll notice, and I noticed, my brain feels heavy. Like literally my head feels heavy because there's so much going on. The anxiousness, the fear, there's so much mental, because this is why it's a mental breakdown. It's not a body breakdown, it's mental, right? Your brain is just like on overload. Get into the body. You are a magnet, you are an antenna, you are attracting based on your energy. So when you're in that story of it's not going to work out for me, the world's against me, whatever, no, get into the body. You have the power, your heart has the power, your gut has the power, your gut has the drive. Get into the body and out of the mind. Choose the narrative of the day. And then think, have I been in this situation before, or a similar situation? All entrepreneurs and business owners can say yes. And most high achievers can say yes at every point in their life, whether you're leaving your first corporate job to go start a business. For sure you had some mental anguish and mental breakdowns then. When you were feeling really lost in a career and switching, when you were making any major pivot, jump, transition, or any kind of plateau where you're like, oof, this next level is going to require some change, some new me, some new action, that for sure caused some mental anguish. And so you're having so yes, you have been in this situation before. The question was, have you been in a similar situation before? How did it play? What did you choose to do about it? And how did it play out then? In our first mental breakdowns as humans, usually we don't handle it very well. Usually we don't separate ourselves. Usually we don't step back from our emotions. Usually we don't slow down. Usually we do something very impulsive, crazy, quit, yell, scream, cry, go drink. We do something nuts. And then we learn, I probably shouldn't have drank in that state. I probably shouldn't have quit my job so hot-headedly. I probably shouldn't have screamed at my partner. So there you go. You've already overcome the worst one. I shouldn't have fired all my employees. I shouldn't have sold my company. Okay, so you've gotten all those out of the way. So that's one where, and then you saw how it played out, probably not too great. So in this case, okay, great. You've been through it before. How'd you handle it? How can you handle it better this time? After a few of these, like I've said, I've had a lot of practice. They get even more and more nuanced. So it's actually the more that you've had, the more nuanced they are, to where it's like, well, yeah, you don't go get drunk, you don't fire your employees, you don't do this like extreme thing. It's more subtle. you still maybe sit in that anxiousness for too long, or avoid doing the hard thing for too long, or let your emotions get the better of you and sit in that victimhood for too long. So when you get really good at this, and the more advanced you get, there's levels to everything. The more advanced you get with these mental breakdowns, the more subtle it is. In the case, using myself as an example yesterday, okay, last time I felt all these things, let's say I was worried about clients and money and growth, and that's usually what these entrepreneurs, what we all struggle with. Even if we're all succeeding, it's always like we want more. Last time I was feeling this lack and this fear and this feeling of no options and no way out, I just kind of like called it quits early, and I like led into the narrative of scarcity and it's not going to work out for me and it's not me. I don't want to do that again. That did not help me. That did not help my vibration. If I know scientifically there's the universal law of attraction, and 12 other laws that talk about how I am the magnet and my being creates my reality, I am in control of this. Look at other people who have been in a similar situation and have turned it around. Alex Hormozi's lost everything and turned it around twice, 3 times. Tony Robbins, homeless. Brad Lee, homeless. All of these really successful entrepreneurs. Oprah. Like, name anybody super successful, and they've had these crazy, low, pivotal moments where they chose and decided, am I going to lean into this, or am I going to lean into I have the power, I create my reality, I will find a way. I am resilient, everything is working out for me and not to me. I'm going to make this happen. So have you been in a situation before? Has anybody been in a similar or worse position than you, and have they overcome it? Have they come out? Whatever you did last time, how did that work out for you, and how can you react differently? That's why this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to show up anyway. I'm going to sit down and film this reel anyway. And I gave it a solid go, and I was like, you know what? The energy is just not here. This is not what I want to produce for people. I don't want them. I'm very ethical in that I don't help people if I am not in a clear, free state. Like, if you ever get a massage, or if you ever get Reiki done, you don't want to be like feeling their problems, right? So you show up clean, clear. So anyway, but the point is I took action. I tried it. I thought maybe this will shift me out of it. It didn't. So then I decided we're calling it a night. We're starting fresh in the morning. And then in the morning when I woke up and was like, oh, just not here. Not like that voices of like, no, lack, scarcity, they're showing up again. So I changed my state. And I changed my story. No, there's all these other people who have had it worse, who have come back from worse circumstances, situations, and I am Jeanette. I can figure this out. I am resilient. I want this to work out. And so I'm going to make it work out. That's the other thing. If you don't want it to work out, what's the turmoil? If you don't want it to work out, if you don't like the relationship you're in, the way your business is going, this isn't about relationships. This is about your business and work. If you don't like the job you're in or what you're doing or creating, then decide you're getting a new job. Decide you're creating a different product. But if it's just that you don't want to do the change or do the work or do the tweak, man up, make a change, get it done. Because sitting and being like, oh, this is really hard, no, I don't want to do it, and fighting it, waste of time. So we changed the state, we changed the story. And guess what? Like, when that vibration was going, those things were happening. I got a lot of positive comments come in. You guys will never know how much your positive comments and your emails of like, I did this feng shui thing and it worked, or I watched this video and it worked, and your encouragement, and like, not even encouragement, but you telling me how your life is changing for the better. Like, you never know, or just other people, when you give other people compliments, you never know like where you're catching them at and how much it means, like those little things of encouragement mean to other people. And so for me, it was like when I changed my state, when I changed what I was focusing on this is going to work out. I was focusing on this is like in my control and I can do something about this and it's going to work out. Then positive things already started to roll in, and I even got the energy and was like, people have to know this is how you shift it, because in less than 24 hours I was able to shift this around and feel is the word vindicated, to like help other people get out of it. You can really let that snowball of anxiousness and fear and scarcity, like it can get real big and take you down a real wrong path. And the switching these things, the deciding what you're going to do, deciding what you're going to focus on, shifting your state, asking yourself, have I been in this situation before or a similar situation? How did I act? How did it turn out? Okay, if I've been there before and I'm better off today, then then I know that I can move on from it and overcome it. And what am I going to do now to also like make something good out of this? And then also, these are in no particular order, but ask yourself, when you're trying to shift your perspective, is this the end or is this the beginning? And the fear and the anxiousness is going to say, this is the end for me, this is it. And when you look at like other people's circumstances, right? Like Tony Robbins, everything he's been through, Oprah, everything she's been through. If you decide that this pinch point, this anxiousness, this like mental breakdown is actually just the beginning, if you think, oh, this isn't the end of my day, you're not going to die. Like, you're going to be fine. It's just like this. Our bodies have to go through it. Our bodies have to live these emotions. Okay, so what if this was the beginning? What if this was the day that I remember I write down in my journal where everything shifted? I had this complete mental breakdown, and then I had like success after success after success, and I grew my business, and like that was the day it changed everything. That was the day I decided to start working out because I couldn't have these mental breakdowns from low energy anymore. That was the day I stopped drinking because having these mental breakdown crashes, I was just over it. Maybe you are working out like me. I worked out yesterday. I'm not drinking, and you're still having them, but it can still be, this was the day in my business that I decided that I was in control and I'm going to show up with even more conviction. I've got people to help. I've got people to serve. I'm here for a reason. Like, the reality is, if you didn't matter, if you didn't have a purpose, you'd die. You wouldn't be here. The fact that you are still here means there's still things for you to learn, for you to do, people for you to help. So today, that mental breakdown, this could be the day that I woke up and I made this video and I helped other people, and it shifts and I feel even more convicted in what I do. So in no particular order, and I don't know if that was 5 things or 4 things or 3 things. I think there's 5. All 5 of those I had to use yesterday, and I got out of it in less than 24 hours. Maybe you just need 1, maybe you just need 2, maybe you need all 5. But ultimately, remember, you tell your brain what to think. You are not your thoughts, so separate yourself from them. Use these tools to separate yourself, to shift your perspective, to shift your state. Remember why you are important. Remember who you are. Remember that people love you. They need you. You are here to make a difference. You are here to have your impact on your coworkers, for your clients. You matter. Use these tools. They will help you get out of it. I wish you the best of luck on the other side, because you will get on the other side. Watch this video again if you have to. Comment below. I answer all of the comments personally. If you want to go take some action, I got some feng shui videos. Maybe you can shift some things in your space. That'll help you feel even more empowered and feel like you've made even more shifts. All right? I'll see you in the next one.